Falcon 9 is in startup. Go for launch.
Minus 15 seconds.
Falcon 9 is at flight pressure.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
We are 1 minute and 7 seconds into flight, and as you can see, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off. Coming up next, you'll hear max Q.
Vehicle's experiencing maximum dynamic pressure.
And as you just heard, the vehicle is experiencing maximum dynamic pressure. That's the point at which the stresses on the Falcon 9 are highest than they are at any other point during the flight.
Back engine chill.
Everything is looking nominal right now. Now coming up, you're going to have 3 events happening in rapid succession. The first is MECO, which stands for main engine cutoff. That is where all 9 of the Falcon 9 first stage engines will shut down. That'll be followed by stage separation. That's where stage 1 will separate from stage 2. And then we'll have SCS1, or second engine start 1. That is where that MVAC engine, that Merlin vacuum engine on stage 2 is going to ignite and carry stage 2 onto orbit. We hear that MVAC chill is looking good. That's where we bleed a little bit of that super cold liquid oxygen into the engine.
Ascent shutdown. MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
And as you can hear by the applause and see on your screen, we've had a successful stage separation and ignition of that second stage MVAC engine. Now coming up in about 25 seconds, we're going to have fairing deploy. So those fairing halves are going to split away from stage 2 and make their way down to Earth. And stage 2 will continue on with the Merah Putih satellite onto its parking orbit. MVAC-D had a really solid startup, and all of the temperatures are looking really good. The burn is going nominally right now.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And as you just saw, we just had a successful separation of that fairing. Once we get into the vacuum of space, we don't need it anymore, so we get rid of that extra mass.
Second stage is following a nominal trajectory.
And as you just heard, second stage is on a nominal trajectory. Now, there are going to be 2 stage 2 burns for this mission. The first is this one that is taking the spacecraft to its parking orbit.
Acquisition of signal.
Once it
Bermuda.
shuts down, it'll coast for about 18 minutes before relighting over the equator to raise Merah Putih to its deployment orbit, the Geostationary Transfer Orbit. Now, while stage 2 is doing its job, stage 1, it's making its way back home down to Earth. Now it's going to execute 2 burns. The first is the entry burn, which is coming up in about 1 minute and 50 seconds. So the first stage is traveling at roughly 2,300 meters per second. And what this 3-engine burn is going to do is assist gravity in rapidly slowing the stage down. If we didn't do that, it would overheat and it would break up. This slows it down and protects it as it enters the Earth's thicker upper atmosphere. Now the second of those stage 1 burns is called the landing burn. This is a single engine burn where we light that center engine E9, and it brings the vehicle's velocity down rapidly from about 250 meters per second to about 2 meters per second in order to gently land the rocket on the drone ship. Now stage 1 landing should occur just a second or two following second stage engine cutoff. So there's going to be a lot happening all at once, so watch closely for this next series of events. Now we're about 50 seconds away from that entry burn, but just note that once we recover this booster, we plan to fly it a 3rd time later this year. As mentioned before, this is possible due to those Block 5 upgrades, which brings SpaceX closer to its goal of full and rapid rocket reusability. Getting close to that entry burn right now. On the right, MVAC continues to burn nominally, and there we go. That entry burn has started.
Stage 1 entry burn. Stage 1 entry shutdown.
It is.
Stage 2 continues to follow a nominal trajectory.
So what you just heard there, stage 1 entry burn has concluded. Stage 2 is still looking beautifully. We're going to have that landing burn, that last and final burn on stage 1. It's going to begin at about 1 minute or so. And then, as I mentioned earlier, just a couple seconds after that, we're going to have SECO 1. Stands for Second Engine Cutoff 1.
Stage 1 transonic.
Falcon 9 is in terminal guidance.
So while we may have lost the view of the drone ship, the view of stage 1, we did get the call out that stage 1 is transonic, and it's making its way on down to the drone ship right now. So hopefully we'll get that camera view back.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Landing burn has begun. Let's see what we get. So we lost the video right there, but hopefully we will get that back. Hopefully, but we have heard that we've had a successful second engine cutoff and that stage 2 is in a good orbit. Hopefully we can get a view on that drone ship if everything stabilizes, but if not, we'll give you an update on the status of the first stage once we get it. What we're hearing right now is that stage 2 is in a good orbit. It's in its nominal parking orbit. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a little break. As you can hear, we got it. Awesome. This is the second landing of this booster. Landed successfully on board. Of course, I still love you. It's a great shot right there. Meanwhile, second stage is in a good orbit, as I mentioned before. It's going to continue to coast, and we're going to take a little break here and come back at T+26 minutes for second stage relight and then deployment of the Merah Putih satellite. Welcome back to the webcast. The second stage engine is about to briefly reignite for its second and final burn to place the satellite in its intended geostationary transfer orbit. SES-2, which will come on at T plus 26 minutes and 22 seconds. It's going to burn over Gabon for about a minute, followed by payload deployment about 4 minutes later. So that burn should be starting in about 15 seconds. And as you just saw, we just had a successful reignition of the second stage Merlin vacuum engine. Well, this burn will continue for another 20 seconds or so. Power is good, the temperatures are looking good, the burn is nominal. Hopefully we'll get that live image, but second engine shutdown 2. Should be coming up very shortly.
MVAC shutdown.
And we just had successful shutdown of MVAC. Let's wait to hear to see if we're in a good orbit.
Nominal orbit insertion for payload deployment.
Great, we are in a solid orbit. Now payload deploy will be coming up in just a few minutes here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a pause and then come back to see the live deployment of the Merah Putih satellite. Welcome back. We are about to reach the payload deployment phase of today's mission. Should coming up in approximately 50 seconds. Now the payload is mounted to stage 2 on what we refer to as a payload adapter. And after the stage separation signal is sent, there is a spring-loaded band around the base of the satellite. What it'll do is it'll fire and open up. And then there are 4 compression springs inside the payload adapter that will gently push the Merah Putih satellite away from Falcon 9, and that spacecraft will continue on to its final destination in geostationary orbit. So payload separation should be in about 15 seconds. We'll be able to see it live, hopefully. And there you go, you can see the Merah Putih satellite just in front of you with the sun behind it, giving it a nice backlight. And successful separation.
Payload separation confirmed.
As you just heard, payload separation confirmed. You can see it, it's looking good. And with that, that brings Falcon 9's mission to a close today. And of course, that's the end of our webcast. So a great thanks to our customer, PT Telkom Indonesia, for entrusting us with tonight's mission. A thank you to satellite manufacturer SSL, the 45th Space Wing for providing range safety today, and to the FAA for licensing today's launch. We'd also like to thank all of our viewers for tuning into this late night or early morning launch, depending on where you are. And if you are excited about what you've seen here tonight and want to join us on our mission, please visit spacex.com/careers to check out our current list of job postings. You can also follow our website and social media platforms for updates on our next missions and milestones. But until next time, have a good night.
Yeah.